Hi friends, how are you doing? This is Dr. Annette Durbin here. I am the creator of the Digital Teacher Blog TV. I am excited to be here today and bring you another episode. In this episode, we're going to focus on instructional technology. Now, I have a couple of questions for you. One question, are you struggling with what to teach your students when it comes to being a good digital citizen? And another question I have for you, perhaps your challenge is finding resources that you can easily tweak and implement into your instructional day. Well, I've got to tell you, I am so excited to share with you that finding the right tools can be hard, but here's a secret. There are several resources such as lessons, picture books, and I have one of my favorites here, Technology Tale, tips, ideas from a variety of reputable educational organizations that promote digital citizenship. So I've done the research and I am sharing the deets with you right here today, starting right now. All right, so I want to let you in on that little bonus secret. So as you know, with every single video that I do, I like to share a free resource for you to support this work that you do with your students. So if you stay to the very end of this video, I will have a free resource that you can use and implement directly into your instruction that next day. So that way your students are getting the best support that they can have from you. All right, you may be wondering, who am I? So, hi, if we have not met before, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Annette, and I am an educator. I've had 31 plus years of teaching experience in public school, private school, and homeschool, and I am a teacher of preschool through 6th grade. I've been teaching in the general education classroom for 28 years and 3 years as an English language teacher, where I support students learning the English language as well as providing support and professional development for their teachers. I'm a National Board Certified Teacher since 2004. I have earned credentials in K-12 educational leadership with a principal certificate. And in 2014, I earned a doctorate degree in administrative leadership, specializing in teaching and learning, and I have a focus on the technology field. Additionally, I am an adjunct professor and I am a program leader developing a sustainable district-wide mentorship program for new and early career educators. I also mentor and coach pre-service and in-service educators in public and private school, as well as supporting homeschool parents who would like support with the instruction. And finally, here you can see this is my family. I have a mom, 4 children, and we live here in Alaska. And this is a picture of my daughter's wedding out at Beluga Point, and it was just a beautiful May day for that event. So over this 31 years, I am truly honored and blessed to have worked with thousands of students, hundreds of parents and colleagues along their educational journey. Even today, I still love the work that I get to do in the education profession. So another area that I am very proud of is my work developing a professional platform to help educators meet the personalized learning needs for their students. I do this by sharing research-based instructional skills and strategies, educational resources, professional development, creating digital content, and also coaching and mentoring. And you can follow me here on the Facebook here. I promote a positive, collaborative online environment where educators can network and support each other. So if you're looking for a community of like-minded educators to share, learn, and grow, consider joining my online Facebook group, Engage, Educate, Excel. Additionally, I have a website, the Digital Teacher Blog. So please bookmark this website. On this blog, I post informative and free resources weekly to support the work that you do every single day in your classroom. So, all right, now that you know a little bit about me, it's time to get started. All right, as I shared before, today we're going to focus on instructional technology, specifically digital citizenship. Traditionally, every October, especially the 3rd week in October, schools focus on lessons to promote digital citizenship skills, knowledge, and dispositions. In this episode, I am featuring several resources that you can easily implement in tomorrow's lesson plan and empower your students to be great digital citizens. Well, first, let me ask you, are you aware of any technology standards that your students need to learn? You can find these standards from your school, district, state, or organization. Typically, technology standards include things like how to create a Word document, a PowerPoint, or how to be safe and search for information online. However, over the past several years, we know we've been spending a lot of time on Zoom and learning with technology. Our classrooms are moving more into that digital teaching space. So more state standards are designed by technology pillars such as digital citizenship. So if you are not sure about your school, district, state, or organization's technology standards, pause this video and locate those expectations for your teaching content. Pull those standards out and review the expectations. And remember to come back to learn more about the digital citizenship technology pillar. All right, now that you have your technology standards, let's look at how these standards are to be taught. And if you don't have those technology standards available, no worries, I've got you covered. All right, so first what we're going to focus on is the International Society for Technology Education, also known as ISTE. This is a website, it's iste.org, where you can find important information about standards from this leading organization and for not only students, but for other stakeholders as well. So whenever I'm on the tab for students, but let me go back to the main page. And here you'll see that there are a variety of information. Here at the top, you'll see that there is an area of focus, professional development, membership, and standards. So when I click on the standards, let me click on that area here. Ta-da. All right, let me go back. All right, so when you click on the standards area, you'll see that, that you can have standards for, there it is, for students, educators, educational leaders, coaches, for computational thinking, which ties into computer science, developing those essential conditions school-wide, so that way your school is on the same page of learning and the expectations for technology, as well as that seal of alignment, which is continuing to go not only beyond the school, but as well the district. So we're going to focus on just the students. And so if we just click on students, then we come to this page here. All right, so in this ISTE standards for technology students, you might be wondering, well, what is it that students need to do? Well, today's students must be prepared to thrive in a constantly evolving technological landscape. These kiddos that we're working with today, they were born, basically they say they were born with devices in their hands, and we call them digital natives because they have had these resources since they were little. As you saw in the picture, I have a grandson who is now 19, coming up on 19 months, and whenever he was little, he would watch his parents and they have their iPhone out or they're on the computer. And I got to tell you, anytime that I am working on my computer, if he is over visiting or I'm watching him, taking care of him, anytime he sees a device, he always wants to go right to it. So we definitely want to make certain that we have a good balance with using technology and not using technology, and especially developmentally appropriate at his age. Technology is not something that should be there. But anyways, so let's look on down here. The student section of the ISTE standards is designed to empower student voice and ensure that learning is a student-driven process. So we're going to look at how the standards in the classroom with the ISTE standards, and there's an ebook that you're welcome to purchase. If you can also be a member of ISTE or a non-member, there's different prices for that. But what we're going to do is to explore the student standards. So here you'll see that there are 7 different standards. So one is focusing on empowered learner, another one is focusing on digital citizen, knowledge constructor, innovative designer, computational thinker, creative communicator, and global collaborator. You probably didn't realize there were so many different standards, but there are. Today, because we're focusing on digital citizenship, we're going to focus on just this digital citizen pillars, what we call them, pillars. All right, so that's what we're going to dive into today. So you might be thinking, what specifically is that digital citizen pillar about? Well, you can see here on the screen that students recognize the rights, responsibilities, and opportunities of living, learning, and working in an interconnected digital world, and they act and model in ways that are safe, legal, and ethical. All right, let's unpack these a little bit further. But before we get started, I have two special notes for you. One, when you're thinking about instructional technology, like other subject standards in math, language, reading, writing, science, health, instructing and learning should always be developmentally appropriate. So that also includes using the technology standards. And number two, keep in mind that because technology can be a thread that travels through all of the different subjects, the best way to teach any technology standard here is going to be one, cross-curricular, and two, embedded within your day-to-day instruction. So if you're teaching the technology standards, it's not something else that you add to your plate, but it's a way that you can use the technology to embed into your instruction so that way students are learning. All right, I hope that's helpful. All right, so with that tip, so now let's get started. So based upon this pillar, digital citizen, there are 4 avenues that students can work towards on this standard. And so I am going to share with you a point in the standard and provide some examples of how to teach this standard using a cross-curricular approach. All right, so here you can see one of the ways that you can teach a digital citizen is by using technology to make your community better. Now, what does this mean? I want you to think, how is technology a resource to improve our relationships, work, and interactions? What is a community? There are a variety of communities that students are involved in, so I want you to think about that part: the school, classroom, church, sports, club, neighborhood. Okay, these are all different communities that students engage in, and with that, you can use technology to make the community better. Let me give you some examples. So one example is a tool that I use for my students. They love Flipgrid. So flipgrid.com. Now, also just so that you know, they just changed that to Flip. So it might be just flip.com by the time you see this video. So this tool allows students to create a 5-minute video, share it with their classroom community only. That's it. It does not go anywhere else. And students can provide comments to the author. So students can record a video, classmates can watch the video, and they can also include some comments specifically for that student. How I use this, my students are introduced at the beginning of the school year with this tool. We use it as a tool to introduce him or herself to their classmates. We also use this as an interview tool where students can interview a partner and then introduce that student to their classmates. So another way that I've used this is by sharing a book report. I know if we have 28, 32 students in our classroom, it can be very challenging to have students share the book reports. So this is a great way for students to share their book report. They can share a project, a science project, or they can even share a piece of writing. Now, I want you to remember this does not take away from the opportunity for students to stand up and develop public speaking skills, because that needs to happen too. So we don't use this tool all the time, but it is a way that I can use this tool for students to work on building our classroom community culture, so that way we're using technology to make our community better. This is also great for those students who are shy and they need a little bit more support getting comfortable talking to others. All right, so I've also used this as an assessment tool. That's right, as an assessment. I've used this tool for oral reading passages. I've used this for details on how to solve a math problem. So the students will have a math problem and they can articulate how they solve that problem. And it's also an opportunity for students to engage and reflect upon their learning. For parent-teacher conferences, students record a video of themselves and the student talks to their parent and shares with their parent what they're doing great at and what they need some more work on and how the parents can help them with that. And then during the student-led conferences, the parents are able to actually view that video. Sometimes students don't come to all the conferences, so if the parents come or they didn't realize they had to bring their child, then we do have this document for them. Okay, so since this platform is published within the classroom, there's a special code students would use to sign up for it, and parents can also access this information. This learning does not go outside of the classroom. It stays within that community. So it is safe. It is a safe way for students to share with others. And I was pleasantly surprised. Something that I totally did not expect was when my students started creating how-to videos and demonstrating, for example, science experiments on their own at home. Students would actually, we had one-to-one technology, and students would take their device home and they would record. One of the big hot topics was how to make slime. So it was pretty fun watching the students teaching others how to make slime. And then if they were, doing the experiment and something didn't quite go the way they expected it, then it was fun to watch them problem solve that and think critically about what it is that they need to do. So the students loved this opportunity to expand their use of video. We know kids love video, sharing knowledge, and building our classroom community. So this is just one way that students can use technology to make their community better. Perhaps your students are able to create a video in their community focusing on school procedures. Maybe it's about student council elections, okay? Bus safety rules. Think about how your students can use technology to create a better community, not just in your classroom, but also starting to go school-wide and age-dependent. It could even go beyond the walls of the school. The ideas to use this resource are absolutely endless. All right, so moving on to the second way that you can support your students to be digital citizens is by engaging in respectful debate. We know that it is very challenging for students to stop and think about what it is that they want to say and how it's going to come across and impact other people, how others and the student who's speaking need to be able to honor those different perspectives. So how many times in our adult world, how many times have you read a posting on a community Facebook page or another social media where people are not being respectful, sharing their perspectives? Yikes, it's so frustrating. Many times, I'm sure I have seen it several times. But providing the opportunities for students to engage in this respectful debate in a learning environment is the perfect way for students to make mistakes and learn together before they enter a larger digital platform. All right, well, let me give you some examples. So using the above example Flipgrid, right? When students create a video, students are able to comment on the video if it is made public to the classroom only. And this is a great opportunity to teach students how to respond by providing positive feedback and constructive criticism. Here, students learn that what they say may come across differently than how they intended it. And students learn about voice, word choice, and how to communicate effectively in writing when they are commenting on their peers. Another way to engage students in respectful debate is by using Google Classroom. Again, this is a digital tool only viewed by the students, and of course you can enroll parents into this. And here students can engage in class discussion, they can collaborate on projects or on digital documents, and they can share ideas with each other. So practicing these communication skills in an open and safe environment are essential to success when they are using these skills later. Now, besides using technology as a place for respectful digital debate, it is important to model and to provide opportunities for respectful debate during classroom dialogue and other events like class meetings, presentations, an author's chair. So when students practice in a safe classroom environment, it is more likely to transfer over to the online classroom. All right, here we are, moving on to number 3, shaping public policy. Public policy. How am I supposed to teach this in the school setting? Well, I want you to start thinking outside of the box. Using online tools such as Google, Flipgrid, Jamboard, Padlet, and there's another resource that I use called KidBlog. The students can shape their classroom culture by engaging in discussion and developing consensus about rules and procedures. That is developing public policy in your classroom culture. Perhaps using a classroom meeting as a follow-up. Maybe there's some recess issues. Again, that's helping to develop public policy. Maybe there's school-wide concerns, bus issues, student council ideas, or anything that's similar for opportunities for students to be shaping that public policy. So I want you to think outside of the box. In your classroom or in your home, right, there are many things that students can take part in and use technology to shape the way things are done. Okay, perhaps at home, maybe there's an issue and the student is not having time to work on assignments, or there's just too much going on between extracurricular activities and homework and then house chores. So this could be an opportunity for students to use in the home setting. Of course, they could use this technology as a way to shape public policy. So I want you to think of public policy not just as what we do at the governmental level, but how does that governmental level, right, focus on the classroom, focus on the school, focus on maybe even the district. Students at the high school level definitely go to the school board meetings and share their thoughts about policy. Okay, so when students can find their voice and they share their thoughts in their classroom setting, or a safe digital classroom, this practice builds student experience in shaping public policy at a student level, and then it supports the importance of student-centered learning, a student-centered learning environment. Students then have experiences to take a school student council and begin learning about how a democracy is operated. And if you've ever done anything with mini society, love mini society. This is another great way that you can use technology to develop that public policy of the society that you're developing within your classroom. I hope that gives you some great ideas so far on the first three components. Now let's move on to the fourth. All right, here we go. The fourth one, recognizing the validity of online resources. Ha ha. This is a great learning opportunity for students. How often do students or your children see something online or in print and they think it is factual? Very factual. Lots of students do this. Learning how to ensure that something is valid is very, very important. Now, students typically learn about these skills in reading classes. Think fact and opinion, nonfiction, fiction, then in visual literacy when you're focusing on commercials and movies. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of examples for lessons that can also be drawn. For example, think playground or sibling rivalries, disagreements. Teaching these same skills about truth and validity in the digital world is just as important. So let's look at some examples. Students can practice digital truth and validity by looking for features that indicate credibility, references, updates, and the importance of triangulating the information to determine whether it is true, dependable, and valid, regardless of it's an online or print resource. Something that I always have my students do is to look at least 3 sources if they're looking at something online. And I don't typically just say, here you go, kids, go look at all these different websites, because you know they're going to find some rabbit holes and go down. So typically what I do is I will develop a page in my Google Classroom and share some sites for them to go to. And then they can look at the sites and can compare the, if you scroll down to the very bottom, you can learn information about the website. You can learn if it's an up-to-date website, right? It should have like at least a year, if not a month or a year. Go into the website and you can find out more information about how updated the information is. The other thing that you can do is click on the About and learn more about the people who have published this information. That's another great way to learn about it. But then if you think about the content that's being posted, you know, when I did my doctoral research, I had to do an extensive, they call it an exhaustive research. So I am looking at many pieces of research. Gosh, I can't even think of, if I had about 12 12 references on one page, I probably had about 4 different pages. So, 50 different references until you start to find that common thread. And so just teaching the students to use 3 resources is going to be helpful. But you know what? Not only can they use and determine the validity of an online resource, they can also pull in print resources, because we do have print resources that we need to be able to use. Not everything is found on Google, right? We do need to learn how to use a library and use that information alongside with what we have learned from the internet in order to determine the validity. Okay, now depending upon the level, if you're working with younger students or if you're working with older students, you're going to structure your lessons in a way that supports how they're learning at that developmental level and the standards for them. Okay, you'll notice at the standards there's just a typical standard that is displayed. However, with that embedded in the content that you're teaching at their developmental level, that is what's going to support the students in being a great digital citizen. Okay, so I have shared some resources for you, and I've shared some ideas, the different components on that specific digital citizenship number 2 ISTE standard. And now I'm going to share a little bit more information. All right, so besides those 4 points that I shared with you, and the ISTE website that I shared with you, I want to share with you some videos. So here on the ISTE website, if you go over here and you click on the little plus sign for digital citizen, and it's the same for all of the different standards here. So if you click on this, and we'll scroll up, so here you'll see that this digital standard is then divided into 4 different areas, and I've kind of focused on all those 4 different areas in the previous slides, but let's look at them here. So 1.2 or 1 and 2 tenths as I teach my students. Students cultivate and manage their digital identity and reputation and are aware of the permanence of their actions in the digital world. There is an actual video that you can click on here to watch. It's about a 2-minute video. You can 2 to 4 minutes are all of the videos, so you can watch them and to see exactly more information on that specific part of the standard. Standard 1 and 2 tenths B, students engage in positive, safe, legal, and ethical behavior when using technology, including social interactions online or when using networked devices. And 1 and 2 tenths, Charlie or C, students demonstrate an understanding of and respect for the rights and obligations of using and sharing intellectual property, right? So that intellectual property is things that other people have done, and we're not copying it, right? And then the last one here, 1 and 2 tenths, delta or D, students manage their personal data to maintain digital privacy and security and are aware of data collection technology used to track their navigation online. All right, so each of these has a video, and as you can see, you can click on these blue hot linked buttons for some additional information, okay? And all of this is available to you on the ISTE.org website, and you can go to the standards section and you can go right to the students and see what the standards are and some examples of some support for you. Okay, so I hope that is helpful for you taking a look at that. All right, so this has been jam-packed with a lot of information focusing on instructional technology, digital citizenship. Again, technically, there's a big push for digital citizenship in the month of October, specifically that 3rd week. However, this is not something that you only need to teach once and be done. It's not a one and done type of thinking. Digital citizenship is something that can be embedded in lessons throughout the school year. One of the things that you might want to do is to think about teaching all of the different technology pillars. There's 7 pillars, right? But teaching them throughout the year, maybe spending 1 month focusing on one pillar and providing opportunities for students to work within that one standard. And then remember, they will need to continue applying that to the work that they do throughout the year. So before we sign off today, I want you to do me a quick favor. I would love to hear about the work that you do promoting digital citizenship. So I have 3 questions I'm wondering if you can do for me. Question 1 is, in the comments below, can you share one thing that you will commit to doing this year to promote digital citizenship with the students that you work with? Maybe you can also share one idea, lesson, or tip that you use with your students to promote digital citizenship so that way other teachers can learn from you. And one of the things that we do is we always learn by sharing. So please feel free to share this video resource with your fellow educators. And then by doing that, you are not only supporting that educator, but think of all the students that you're able to continue supporting. All right, so I hope that you have found value in this video today. Please post your comments, share your wins, ask questions, and I will get answers for you. Please see the show notes for additional information about the work that I do. Make certain that you consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking the notification bell so that you receive updates whenever I post additional videos to support educators working with students in the classroom, whether you're a private school teacher, public school teacher, or a homeschool parent. We are all educators working together for the one common goal, which is supporting the students that we work with to support their journey and to gain a learning and achievement. All right, and as you know, with every video, I like to share a free resource. So in the show notes, you can take a look at the free resource that I have that is going to focus on best practices in instructional technology. Today's resource is a list of some of my favorite online resources as well, that with lessons that you can review and download for your citizenship instructional journey. So there's two different options for you. Choose the one that you'd like or choose both. So I'll post a link to the show notes, and I also will encourage you to, again, subscribe to my channel and to share this information with others. Bookmark my website, the Digital Teacher Blog, and consider joining our online Facebook community where we are a group of educators who enjoy working, learning, collaborating together, sharing ideas and networking. You name it, we do it, and it is a great environment to do that. All right, my friends, that is a wrap for our work today. Have a great week supporting your students along their digital citizenship journey, and I'll see you next time. Take care and have a blessed day.